It's hard to talk about Sonic without talking about Crush 40. He's been doing music.
I got a few gifts. Now Bodywork.
So when you found out that from your agent, when you heard that there was a possible role, what was it like to prepare for that role of Aerith?
So, as I said, I kind of had put voice acting aside, and then I get this audition, and I had no business auditioning for this, but the casting director had seen my demo reel for like on-camera acting and said, oh, her voice could work, and so offered me the audition. And I thought, I've never done any voiceover roles whatsoever. Like, I have no experience. I really have no business doing this role, but how fun, because I was a gamer, so I knew about Final Fantasy. I knew what an amazing character this was, and I said, well, I'm gonna go in and have like the best time of my life auditioning for this, and then I'm not gonna be able to tell anybody about it because I signed an NDA. But I was like, you know what, like, let's just go in and have the time of my life, because this is probably like the biggest project I'll ever be able to like audition for, and I'm never gonna get it, but that's okay. So I watched a little bit of Advent Children. I did my research on the character and the story, and I listened to all of her previous voices. So I listened to all of her English voice actresses, and I also listened to Maya Sakamoto, her Japanese voice actress. And then I just sat at my streaming desk, my streaming microphone, and I said some lines. And then I listened to them back, and then I said, I think it needs a little bit more of this, and then tried it a different way until I found something that felt like I could proudly go into an audition with this. And then I did. And then I booked it, which was crazy.
You totally realize you are one of the most beloved franchise video game characters, right?
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
My gosh, isn't this exciting to hear all of this?
Yeah. No, I still don't.
I see all the smiles. This makes me super excited. Do you have any favorite moments or lines from your time voicing Aerith?
Oh my gosh! So I have a very special attachment to the line, "Here, this is for you," as well as the line from that very first trailer when she pokes her head up at Cloud after he has his little brain spasm, and she goes, "Are you okay?" That whole thing, that whole scene that was involved in the very first trailer that ever dropped, that's probably my favorite, just because that, I think, was the moment that I thought, oh my, this is really happening. That's my voice. What? No, so that scene will always live as my favorite for sure.
That's incredible! Oh my gosh, thank you for sharing that. So I feel like a lot of people were always curious about voice acting and the whole process of it. And we all know that was your first role, and you did a lot of acting and a lot of other different types of work in this industry. For what advice would you give to someone who is aspiring to be or become a voice actor?
Sure. So if you would like to be a voice actor, the first thing that's the most important thing is that it is acting at its core. And so absolutely take some acting classes. They don't have to be voice acting specifically, because I think a lot of people watch their favorite cartoons and see their favorite characters and they go, oh, I can mimic that voice, I can imitate that voice. But when you are a voice actor, you actually have to put the emotions that are on the script through your voice and into the microphone, and it has to come out in a performance. And that's the number one thing. Doing silly voices, that's actually, even though my agent was like, oh, what voices can you do? Literally, that is not what voice acting is. It's not the silly voices, it's not the imitations or the impressions. It's gonna be acting. It's gonna be the emotional control and output. And so take some acting classes and so much practice, and then again, find the fun in it. Because it's one of those careers where it might not come to anything, but if you are having fun, that will be value in itself. And then if you get lucky, you get to have a dream job, which is really, really, really cool.
I love that. So your voice is an absolute tool in your industry and everything that you work with. Are there any particular like techniques or practices that you use to maintain your vocal health, especially like during long recording sessions when you had to say a certain line like 6 or 7 times, and then the director would be like, okay, well, do it again, do it with this energy. Like, was there a way that you had to preserve your voice as you were doing this?
Oh my gosh. So having had no experience in voice acting whatsoever, and then being pretty much like kicked into the deep end of the pool with one of the most technically challenging types of voice acting, which is localization. So it was a very intense learning process, and I had to just learn through trial and error all through the course of recording Remake. And I can hear those differences from the beginning of the recording process to the end. And in my playthrough, you can actually see when I bring things like that up. But it was totally like total trial and error, like trial by fire even. And so I had to learn even things so much as, do I want room temperature water, cold water, or hot tea? Should my hot tea be herbal or caffeinated? Should it have lemon or honey in it? Do I need tissues to clear my nose? At some point I started taking a Claritin before every single voiceover session because I have such a small, soft palate. Like, I'm not kidding, like, it is this technical. The microphone picks up every sound. Every single sound that you have never heard from your own vocal cords. Just like clicks at the back of my throat. Just literally, I mean, the most detailed stuff. So much. I remember at one point, remember that my favorite line that I was telling you about? Here, this is for you. At one point, I'm saying this line, and they keep telling me, there's a whistle coming in on your F. Can you say your for you without whistling? And I'm like, I don't hear what you're talking about at all. Here, this is for you. Here, this is for you. Here, this is for you. We did it so many times, and these are things I never, ever, ever expected. And luckily, the team just worked with me. They knew I had no experience, and they were willing to just sit with me and teach me these things so that I could figure it out. Yeah, vocal health is super, super important. The most important thing is rest, because ultimately, like, the tea and the honey, and it's great, but rest is really the only thing that can keep you good.
Yeah, that's spectacular. Thank you for sharing that with us. Like, I know some microphones, they can pick up.
No, so the director for both Remake and Crisis Core Reunion and Rebirth, they are really focused on the scene at hand, and there is a lot of all of the like sassiness and playfulness really just comes from Aerith's character, and she can dole that out to any character. But the thing with Aerith and Zack in Crisis Core Reunion is that Aerith was younger there, and she's a little bit softer, gentler, a little less sure of herself. And so Zack ends up being that foil, and ends up being that playful, lively energy that she kind of, in my opinion, not in the director's opinion, she kind of learns that playful side from him. And so that's what she ends up taking into when you see her later on in Remake and Rebirth. And so I don't think anyone could really deny that she and Zack love each other, like they have a connection. But when it comes to her relationship with Cloud, all we really focus on is making sure that we tell the story and let these characters interact in an authentic way. There's no direction as far as like choosing sides or romanticness or platonicness. We don't really kind of like talk about it in grand scales like that. We really talk about it in, okay, in this line, she is telling Cloud that he cannot leave the room, and she wants him to not leave the room because she, you know, wants to see him in the morning and walk him to Sector 7. And so we're really talking about like the nitty-gritty details of each line, rather than, okay, so the overall relationship between Aerith and Cloud is this. Does that help? Yeah, okay.
I feel like any super Final Fantasy VII fan has that same question in the back of their mind, like, like team Cloud or Team Zach or team whichever, right?
Sure.
Our next question is from our audience member, Jasmine. Would you rather voice Tifa Lockhart or keep your voice role as Aerith?
Oh my gosh. That's a great question. And I think when I first started with my audition, I thought, oh, I wonder maybe if I would like voicing Tifa more, because, you know, I consider myself a very strong character, and Tifa she's a martial artist, like she's a warrior, like she's very strong. But I think Aerith's character suits me a lot more because she is strong and sassy and playful, and her gentler side is more underneath that. Her outsides are more sassy, strong, and playful, and then her gentler side is underneath, whereas Tifa is the exact opposite. Tifa is gentle and soft and warm and caring on the outside, and then her toughness is what holds everything up underneath her. And so they're very, very similar characters, but I think Aerith's my girl, and Britt does such an amazing job voicing Tifa. I couldn't imagine a better Tifa, truly.
I love that. All right, our next question. Okay, so we did that one. Just JK.
Our next
Okay,
question.
let's check out this question. Your voice director, Kirk
Thornton. Kirk Thornton.
And audio engineer Justin, as well as some of your cast members, have teased a blooper reel. Can you give us a sneak peek at some of your bloopers?
My bloopers are very unintentional and never. My audio engineer never lets me live a blooper down, but it's usually some version of like I'm trying to yell Cloud and it comes out like a squeak on accident, or Justin's favorite is when my stomach grumbles in the booth. The mic is so sensitive it picks it up, so there's this like sound right in the middle of a line, and he will isolate it and play it back for everyone at full volume, and he'll go, "Oh, is there a monster in the booth with you today, Briana?" So yeah, it's little tiny like things like that would end up on a blooper reel. I can't imagine any specific lines, but it's usually like my voice squeaks or there's a stomach grumble, or I mean, honestly, if we were to like flub our lines and accidentally say "at" instead of "in" or something like that happens so commonly it's not even funny. But yeah, the funny ones are always when you mean to say like "come with me" and you accidentally or say "come with me" and you're like, why did I say it like that? I don't know.
Come with me. Come with me.
There might be some fun ones for the Loveless play. We had a little bit of deciding at the beginning, like, how good are they at acting? Like, are they really bad? Because that was fun to try, and then we dialed it down a little bit.
Art comes from Rawl. My first Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy VIII. If you had a chance to voice an FF8 character, who would you choose?
That's a great question. I haven't played the game.
I was worried.
So I would choose to voice Squall, because that's the only character I know.
We'll take Renoa.
Renoa. I say Renoa. I don't say Renoa. I'm not a Renoa. I'm just not a Renoa. Who else? Who's the blonde one? Quistis? Quistis? Conquistador. Conquistador, yes. So that character, I one time for a web series wore glasses, and everyone in the comments said, "Oh my God, it's Quistis!" And I was like, okay, that one then, that one.
Awesome.
That's the one, because I've worn glasses before. That's why.
Thank you for that question. Okay, our next question comes from Tiffany. Hi, Briana. Where are you, Tiffany? Where are you?
Hi, Tiffany.
We love your work so much. You touched upon this earlier, but how do you stay passionate and motivated about acting? And how do you stay on top of managing so many aspects of your life that are equally important?
Once again, poorly. No, it's how do you stay motivated? Because it's a career where you hear no way more often than yes, to the tune of like hundreds. And I would say I went into this with the thought that I don't really care if I don't make it, but I have to try. And one of the cool things about streaming is that I can have something to do and something that helps me a little bit pay my bills while I'm waiting for the acting role. And so for acting, I kind of just went into it with the mentality, and I have to go into this every fresh year, every no, every rejection that I get, I have to go in with the mentality that this is what I love to do. I wouldn't want to do anything else. And it doesn't have to have a result, and it doesn't have to be today, but I'm in this for the long haul. So I'm metaphorically seated, leaned back, like with my snacks, like I'll wait, because this is how I want to live my life. This is what I want to do. And if I can just make a little living for myself doing what I love, I think I will die happy, you know? And then the second part of your question is, oh gosh, I would say when you're first starting out, don't expect it to become a career. I would say let it be fun first, because streaming is a unique career, because for 99% of people it's extremely unrewarding. And that's actually very similar to acting. There are a lot of similarities there. A lot of it is you'll put something out there and nobody will watch it or nobody will like it. Just like acting, you'll go into 1,000 auditions and maybe book one. So they're very similar in that way. So my recommendation is always to find the fun of it, and whatever that means for you. So if the fun part for you is editing, and you really like putting things together in different orders and like putting memes up on the screen and like choosing the best background music, like find what's fun for you, and that's what makes your content special. For me, I really like collaborating with other people, and so I had a whole year where I just focused on collaborating with other streamers, and I would have people come into my studio, and some of those people are still like my closest friends today. So you ultimately have to just find what's fun about it, because there are so many parts of streaming content creation that are just completely thankless. There will be work that you put in that you will get nothing back out of it, and that's just part of it. But if you find what's fun about it, it will always be worth it in the end. Oh gosh, common misconceptions about voice acting. Well, I mean, we kind of already covered the big one, which is that if you think it's just kind of impressions and mimicking your, like, I can do a good Joker, that's great, but that's not really gonna make you a career. One of the more fun things that I was able to do in a voice acting class was building a voice just from a picture. So that's super fun if you ever want to try that out. Take a picture online of a character that you have never heard their voice before, if they have one, or if maybe they're not voiced at all. So like some of the old Final Fantasies that haven't been voiced would be a super fun idea. You can take some of the monsters, or you can take some of the like villains, and try to, how would this character sound in my opinion? And go, okay, is their voice high-pitched, low-pitched? Does it have a clarity, or does it have rasp? Is it a raspy voice? Do they speak super fast because they're really animated and really excited, or do they talk kind of slow? There are lots of different ways that you can kind of experiment with how a different character sounds, and that's going to be the most important thing, is not creating an imitation or mimicry. It's really like just kind of experimenting and playing and coming up with a character voice that's all your own and is completely unique to you.
That's.
I didn't think so. You weren't ready. You didn't think I was going to say yes.
How about some cheering? Woo! And 1, and 2, and 3. Work it. 4, and 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo!
We're going back.
Yeah. What is some cosplay that you've done that you...
Bye.
Say right, okay?
Nah, I did this one and I did Jason Warren's